Hello chess enthusiasts, my name is Miha and welcome to my chessrealm YouTube channel. So another interesting game from the recently ended Julius Baer Generation Cup tournament. It was a rapid game between Ante Brkić and Renato Pinto from the 8th round. Let's see what happened. Ante Brkić had white pieces and he started with e4, c5, knight to f3, d6, d4, c captures on d4, and now instead of knight to d4, we have queen to d4, so this is the variation of the Sicilian defense where queen is against all recommendation active already in the beginning. So knight goes to c6, attacking the queen, bishop to b5, pinning the knight, bishop to d7, unpinning the knight, so bishop captures on c6, bishop recaptures pretty much according to the theory, and now normal developing moves followed, knight to c3, knight to f6, bishop to g5, e6, and now queen to d3, clearing this d4 square, preparing to deploy the knight on d4. Bishop goes to e7, knight to d4, and now queen to a5. Attacking bishop on g5. So bishop goes back to d2, preparing discover attack on the queen. Queen goes to b6, avoiding discover attack. White castles queen side and black castles king side. So we have opposite side castling and therefore we are expecting a sharp battle. And white continues with f4, trying to take over the initiative. Black doesn't waste time and responds with d5, counter-attack in the center. Now if white would capture pawn on d5, that would open too many lines and files for black. So e5 was played. Knight is under attack. So knight retreats to d7, bishop to e3. Again preparing discover attack. So queen goes to a5, king to b1, avoiding direct pressure on the c file. Rook from f goes to c8. So black is deploying pieces on the queen side and white should immediately play h4 with action on the king side. But instead the knight to b3 was played, attacking the queen. And now queen goes to a6. So black is offering the trade of queens. Then the battle would not be so sharp, but white disagrees. So queen to d2 was played. And now black plays b5, advancing with his queenside pawns. Bishop goes to d4, and now b4, knight is under attack. So knight goes to e2, bishop to b5, double attack on the knight. Knight goes to g3. So white has successfully deployed the knight to the king side. Now here white supports this f5 square, maybe even preparing f5 pawn push, further opening diagonals, and black was probably afraid of that. So g6 was played, double defending the square. And now h4. White has a simple plan. With h5 demolish the pawn structure around black king. So black responds with h5, blocking the pawn. White continues with knight to f1. Again, very simple plan. Knight goes to e3, supporting g4 square, and with g4 pawn push, demolish black's pawn structure. So black continues with rook to c6, knight goes to e3, knight to b6, and now g4. And now knight goes to c4. So white doesn't have time to capture pawn on h5 because queen is under attack. Capturing this knight on c4 is not the best option. After knight captures on c4, d pawn recaptures, attacking knight on b3. Now here white would have to play very accurately. The correct continuation would be knight to c1, but even then white would be under big pressure. After knight a1, however, then c3. Both queen and pawn are attacked. If b pawn captures, b pawn recaptures, queen a3 and b2 checkmate is the threat. So with bishop recaptures, then rook from a to c8. Double attack on the bishop, there's no way of defending it. So after bishop b2, c2 pawn is currently protected, but after bishop to c4, black threatens with queen a2. And after knight b3 defending, then bishop d5. Attacking the rook, and again pawn on c2 is at stake. If white remove the rook to g1, let's say, then rook captures on c2. Yeah, white can trade queen for two rooks, but this is not enough in this position. After bishop to e4 check, king c1, we have mate in 4, queen to c4, king d2, queen d3. If king c1, queen c2 is checkmate. If king e1, then bishop h4, and white can only delay the mate for one move. There are other variations, but in all of them, white is lost. Okay, let's go back to our game. So black wants to play a rook from a to c8, and once this knight is gone, c2 pawn is going to fall. So the correct continuation would be queen to f2. After queen to f2, this knight on e3 is protected, and if black tries with rook from a to c8, then rook to h2 simply defends the pawn. Even if knight captures, queen recaptures, and white is better here. In the game, queen to g2 was played. It was a mistake, and black could punish it by playing rook from a to c8. After rook from a to c8, white wouldn't have time to organize the defense of this c2 pawn. After immediate rook to c1, then queen a4, rook a6 is the threat. Anyway, in the game, black doesn't find this continuation. Instead, knight captures, knight on e3 was played. Bishop recaptures, bishop to e2, attacking the rook, but white doesn't care and plays g-pawn captures on h5. Black can, of course, gain the exchange here, but if bishop captures rook on d1, rook simply recaptures. G-pawn cannot move because it's pinned. White is going to annihilate all black pawns on the king side. Even if black tries with king h7 unpinning and defending pawn on g6, then h-pawn captures on g6, f-pawn recaptures, and then h5, queen g6 is the threat. Then let's say rook to g8 defending, h-pawn captures on g6, rook recaptures, rook to h1 check, king g7 and queen h3. White queen is going to invade the last rank, and then it's going to be all over. Okay, so in the game, bishop captures pawn on h5. Rook is still at stake, so rook to d2, queen to a4, preparing rook to a6 at some point, but not at the moment, because pawn on a2 can easily be defended with knight to c1. White continues with rook f1, preparing f5 pawn push. This f5 square is protected only once actually, because g-pawn is pinned. Black continues with rook from a goes to c8, f5, and now rook to a6. Now white has to be careful. If, for example, f-pawn captures on e6, then queen a2, king c1, queen a1, knight a1, and rook a1 is checkmate. So white plays knight to c1, defending pawn on a2. Black continues with b3, pawn on a2 is 3 times attack, but if black captures, simply king goes to a1, no problem here. More problematic is if black captures pawn on c2. Well, we have reached a critical position. White should have continued with f-pawn captured on e6. After f-pawn would capture on e6, then f-pawn would probably recapture because rook has to keep the pressure on the a file. Well, then probably bishop to g5. White would still hold the position. In the game, however, here white makes a blunder. F-pawn captures on g6. Bishop naturally recaptures, and white has just allowed black light square bishop to occupy this diagonal, putting fatal pressure on white king. Immediate king to a1 was necessary to put the king out of the spin, but instead here white makes a fatal blunder. h5 was played. Attacking the bishop, bishop is pinned, so white thinks he's going to win a piece, but black is on the move. b-pawn captures on c2 check. If rook recaptures, white simply wins decisive, black simply wins decisive material. So king to a1 was played, and now we have mate in 3, and it starts with queen to a2 check. Here, by the way, white resigned the game. Knight can only capture queen, but then c-pawn promotes to queen. Or rook, whatever. Rook captures, rook recaptures, and it's checkmate. So I hope you like this game. I hope you have learned something from it. If you have any questions, my email is below in the description. Of course, I invite you to visit my Instagram page. That's it for now, and see you soon.